This one is for the big-time Mondo Mega Final Fantasy nerds, like me. So I played the new FF7 Ever Crisis First Soldier new chapter. Whoa! That's right, I didn't just fire up YouTube and watch the cutscenes. I'm in there. Cracking packs, clicking buttons, getting one-shotted. This is illegal! Clicking more buttons, taking a gander at these outfits. And beneath the surface of all this hullabaloo, there's lore. Lore you can't really find anywhere else. And to save you the trouble of doing, well, this, I've compiled all the newest lore secrets from the stuff that released like a week or two ago. And yeah, it connects to Remake, Rebirth, and the remake. So here we go. And just to set the scene, the general idea here is that Angeal is popping along for the first time on a mission with Sephiroth, and they're in Wutai. The year's 1995. And there's a sleazy documentary guy with them. Okay, now here we go. 1. Is this random dead guy actually in 7 Remake? So you find this guy named Marco early on in chapter 4 of the new stuff. Unfortunately, Marco is no longer with us, but he is a former soldier and Shinra is taking his body back. Now they could just be bringing him back for like a proper burial, but I know this motherfucker. And I think he'd want the bodies back to do some more experiments, which is significant when you consider this guy from Remake. This is former Hojo test subject Sephiroth clone Black Cloak guy number 49, and his name? Marco. Now, does this take place 12 years after we see other Marco's dead body? Yes. But do I think the devs would just name 2 dudes Marco? No. The plot thickens when you consider the numerology of the number 49. Yeah, we're going deep mega nerd on this one. The good folks over on the Final Fantasy fandom wiki have noted that the number 49 is significant in Buddhism. They have this concept called Bardo, which is not dissimilar to what we might know as limbo. But where limbo is a space between life and death, Bardo is a space between death and rebirth. And some folks think that space lasts up to 49 days. So back in 1995, does Hojo take Marco's dead body and do some experiments in that 49-day span? And dead soldier Marco is reborn as Sephiroth clone Marco? I don't know. Plus, consider the fact that when we take down Roche in Rebirth, he is reborn as a clone guy just moments later. So there is precedent for these seemingly dead soldier guys to go full Rebirth mode. At the very least, we know we'll be getting more Black Cloak Sephiroth clone details in this chapter, in this episode, thanks to the trailer. So I don't think this is a totally crazy connection to make. 2, we're finally getting the backstory of Sephiroth's sword. Let's go! At the end of these new chapters, you meet none other than the sword master Masamune. And he is indeed wielding adult Sephiroth's signature blade. And Masamune is like, oh no, boo-hoo, no one can defeat me and take my blade. So like, I think we all know where this is going. But it is fun to think about how Square Enix puts different Masamunes in different games. Whether it's a sword, a blacksmith, an artifact, it's everywhere. Bonus fact, Masamune is a reference to a legendary real-life blacksmith. He lived in medieval Japan, and he made katanas that were considered masterpieces for their strength and beauty. And he was particularly famous for perfecting an art called nie. This is where tiny crystals get embedded in the metal of a sword. Sound familiar? 3, Alissa! I definitely swooned over her in the cutscenes for the intro to the new chapter, and I'm falling more in love with her with every sassy word she says. But why the heck does she look like Sephiroth's mom? Did Hojo just like get sad when she went full crystal mode and tried to clone her? Or is she just a long lost Sephi sibling? Who knows? But it's definitely something to put a pin in as we get more chapters in this episode. 4! We see very, very creepy Jenova manipulation live in action. The last 2 chapters in this release are these bizarre purple-tinged dream sequences, one with Angeal and one with Sephiroth. In both instances, they're talking to their mom, and in Angeal's case, also his dad. But is it Angeal's dad, and is that even Sephiroth's mom? As they talk to their folks, the dialogue becomes overly positive and unnatural. It's like almost sickeningly sweet. It makes me think Jenova's getting her hooks in them, making them misremember events. Because if you think about it, Lucrezia did go full crystal mode when Sephiroth was just a baby. She didn't even get to hold him, much less make him pumpkin soup. And Angeal's dad, who was probably Hollander, was notably not together with Jillian in Crisis Core. These scenes that they're remembering never really happened at all. What we're seeing here are just projections of Jenova, and she's just being overly nice to them, trying to get them on her good side. All with the goal of getting them to do her bidding. You know, explode the planet, harness its energy, ride it through the universe, that sort of thing. So why are the devs showing us this? Well, it's pretty shocking to see just how early Jenova was manipulating Sephiroth and Angeal. And on top of how much they humanized Sephiroth in First Soldier Episode 1, it almost seems like they're setting up Jenova to be the real bad guy, and Sephiroth is just instead this tragic hero, which is definitely a story I'd love to see told in 3-make. This is the best flavor. Beach plum. 5. So technically this is from the last episode of First Soldier, which came out earlier this year, but haven't heard a lot of people talk about this. You know, the theoretical connection between Rifu and Darkstar. Rifu, of course, is such a good boy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Oh, sorry. I mean, Rifu is Glenn's dog. Well, I guess it was Rosen's dog first that Glenn adopts after, you know. But what if Rifu had a third owner? Thanks to Rebirth, we see a scene where Rufus kills Glenn. Is it possible that Rufus adopts Rifu, and then Hojo does Hojo things and turns him into this mutated dog we know as Darkstar?
What?
I mean, come on! Dark Star? I don't know. I like this theory and I think it's kind of plausible. Like seriously, why else would they put a dog so central to the narrative? And maybe they'll use Ever Crisis and the dog to kind of explain how and why Rufus kills Glenn. Because none of it is explained in Rebirth, that's for sure. Anyway, I loved this release. If you have theories or thoughts on any of this stuff, slap it in the comments. I'm hoping we'll get a few more chapters of this before the end of the year, because frankly, I am ravenous for this story. I'll stream it again like I did for this release, so go to the place and do the thing. VODs are in the place. Also, we might start a book club. And big, huge Mondo thanks to the community members that were there and brainstormed and lore crafted with me when we streamed this. You rock so hard. Okay, bye!